Hello everyone, good afternoon all. So I'm super excited today because this is my actually second talk at the BalCCon. Really excited about it, and yeah, today I'm gonna talk about something which I call it Agent 47, and I'll tell you why it is Agent 47. So it's kind of gonna talk about LLM based stuff for real-world pen test and red team operations. But just a quick note before we dive in. So this entire idea and presentation actually comes from my personal experiments, so which I started almost 11 months ago. So it's not based on any like commercial products or formal research. It's just me exploring different things, testing tools, different frameworks, and gathering my learning points, failures, and some red flags, etc., etc. And I'm not here to actually recommend any specific tool to you or techniques or workflows. So this is more kind of friendly technical chat, sharing my findings and my failures with you. And also, one important thing is that don't be fooled by the fancy title here. So it had to sound good, for sure, and on the agenda. But this is very much a grounded, hands-on kind of session. As our previous speaker discussed about the AI, that the AI brought more harm. So I'm not on the opposite side. But today we're just gonna start working on something, if we can at least find some advantage of AI solutions, if we can. So at the end, it's up to you. Any decisions, any flags, anything. So yeah, it's up to you, and let's get into it. I'm Ali, so I'm almost 13 years in the industry, so mainly on the red side. And currently I'm application and offensive security at Canon. So I'm also Microsoft MVP and Cisco champion. So I'm an author, really in love in writing stuff. So was a previously reviewer, articles, etc. But I'm also really passionate about sharing new things, even talking in details, technical stuff, and that's why I'm always active in the community-based events. And of course, I'm a lifelong learner as well, so still learning and still a student. And yes, the Agent 47, I think most of you knows this guy. So this is actually a video game. They call it Hitman, and also there is a movie. So like always, the plan in your head is really, really ideal version, I would say. Before diving in, everything feels easy peasy, you know, and like, yeah, I got this. So, but there is a big no. And once you get into the details and you get your hands dirty, you know, and then you realize that, okay, this is something different. So I wasn't that right. So there are some failures. And I have to work a little bit more. And yeah, I know the title sounds all fancy, like someone Agent 47 stuff. But what I've built and what I've worked on is more like a shitty DIY version. And it's not pretty like this one is. Actually, it's rough edge and all, you know, yeah, all about it. So it's actually how it was originally supposed to, and that was my thought, but the right side, so that is how it looks like in reality. So, and in most cases, like everyone's talking about AI, so everyone thinks that, yeah, it is pretty cool, but when it comes to the reality, when it comes to the bug bounty, when it comes to the offensive operation or defensive solutions, you know, you will understand that this AI is more marketing, sales stuff, or it's just a fancy bottom somewhere, you know, just to sometimes, unfortunately, to make more money. But yeah, this is the reality here. So, and this presentation, yeah, may contain some, you know, accurate or sometimes inaccurate flags and items. So yeah, the final judgment and decision is up to you, and I hope you will enjoy that. But first of all, I'm just going to talk about the LLM agents. So actually, the main reason and the main purpose of this presentation is just talking about the LLM-based agents and agentic AIs in offensive security operations, like pen testing and red teaming, you know, because those are like similar words, but in reality, in action, those are different things. So actually, an LLM agent is a kind of software agent using a large language model like GPT, like any other LLM solutions that you've already worked with. And that will understand language and perform tasks. So it means that it is totally based on what you instruct, and it is based on the natural language text. So it processes inputs, it generates responses and automate tasks and perform tasks as well from natural language commands from your side, actually. And it connects with external systems to extend capabilities. This is an option, so you can take advantage of. And it learns and adapts responses dynamically, but do not forget that this is something that you have to teach, and you need to put some kind of instruction and step by step. So to have that kind of dynamic responses. And it also has been used in chatbots, in AI-based assistance, system content creation, and of course automation. But I was thinking that, yeah, so but I built the first draft of the thing, this framework actually, so I had different options to be able to use that. So specifically for red teaming stuff. So I put the framework, I put all the necessary scripts and the setup into one piece of like Raspberry Pi or something like that. And it's a plug and play option for me. So running through a LAN device or something like a LAN turtle or something, whatever you name it. Or another plug and play option was just using a USB stick and put it there, and also, but in a legal red team operation, I mean. And the third option was a compromised system, like in assume breach scenarios. So we got access to a system, or we already compromised one of the system, and for the rest of the stuff, just for automation. So we could run the whole setup as a script or something like that from a compromised system. So that was the third option actually. And yeah, after that, so I was thinking about the deployment. So I had the deployment phase. So that time I worked with two different deployments option. So the first one was something like as I said, pre-configured Raspberry Pi, and like including Python libraries and other tools. And so we connect to a target network, and then our mainly phase, which is the recon, will trigger, and we start the reconnaissance based on what actually I instruct and what are the objectives. And the second one was the agent uploaded to the system, to the compromised system, and we can configure it as a background service or daemon, or it will start automatically the establishment of the communication with our command and control server. And then it starts again, begins the reconnaissance phase, starting ping sweeping, or port and service scanning, blah, blah, blah. So it really depends on your recon phase. And for recon phase, this solution actually leverages the public and open source data pulled from websites, social media, code repositories, forums, and any other publicly available data. And it's designed to identify potential targets for us, including individual systems, infrastructure, and can even uncover exposed credentials left unintentionally in public spaces. And we also use it to detect vulnerabilities and exposed APIs, which could serve as potential attack vectors. So for us, and by analyzing publicly available data, the system builds a comprehensive understanding of the target's digital footprint and then the overall attack surface for us. And finally, compared to manual efforts, it helps discover potential entry points significantly faster and improving threat detection and response times. But it really needs a careful instruction and setup, and you will definitely face so many errors and false positives. So that needs this is a kind of life cycle. So you need each time you need to improve your setup. You need to improve your LLM-based agent. So far, we're talking about that part, LLM-based agents. So from that recon phase, the agent uses OSINT APIs as well with tools like the harvester. It can be like sublister and whois data for data collection, and it collects data from subdomains as well, information about the website content as well. It uses LLM to analyze the data each time for vulnerabilities and sensitive info, and I will discuss that in the next slide. So, and the LLM finally identifies issues like exposed subdomains or public data or any publicly available informational things like email addresses, etc., etc. But sometimes it is also very good for the recon phase only, specifically recon phase, like focusing on different subdomains, because recon is the most important part of the even not only pen testing and red team but also bug bounty. So if you do a really great recon, then you can expect a really good results as well. And yeah. Let's go into the vulnerability scanning and analysis function. Here we have the agent actually identifies and prioritizes the vulnerabilities. So not talking about the 0 days. So and that wasn't my achievement, but also 0 days is not that easy. So we're talking about 1 day and actually publicly available exploit and scripts for available and already found vulnerabilities. So we call it this 1 day here based on the gathered data like operating system version, operating system information, open ports, services, and frameworks. And it uses exploit-DB or NVD APIs to find the related vulnerabilities, impacts, and severity for us. Then we can also categorize them as well. It can be manually or it can be also part of this automation. So how that 1 day exploiter works. So that one for me started from the agent. So it was a custom Python agent built in React or framework, something like that. So it can be anything else. It sends instruction to GPT-5 via OpenAI API. And then we have the LLM chatbot, the GPT-5 there, which is doing kind of runs dynamic exploit scripts via terminal execution and also a code interpreter. And we had a headless browser, like for instance Selenium or whatever, for web navigation and HTML parsing as well. And then we had the specific part and the most important part, finding the CD, finding the vulnerabilities, finding the right code and exploit for that. So for that one, we could use MicroCVE database or NVD API or search exploit, but to narrow it down and to just starting with some tiny steps, I would recommend to use like very limited database of CVEs for yourself, so you can narrow it down to achieve a result a little bit more faster. And then we had the attack and response phase, which is that a function to send a request, HTTP request, like a Python, AI or HTTP. And finally, the function which shows us the exploit outcome, if it was successful or if it was a failure. But there is a big but here. So if it is a failure, then you need to think about something else. If it is a failure, so you can instruct what to do. What is the next steps? Shall we terminate the whole execution or shall we start another path? And this is what I will discuss once I explain the agentic AI as well. So does that make sense? So what does that exploit suggester or exploit validator do? So it's a kind of agent in the middle, like Metasploit database, we have exploit DB, And then as a feed, we have the version, we have the information gathered so far. So then the outcome will be the valid vulnerabilities and exploit, working exploit, and the possibility of exploiting that vulnerability. And actually, agents search for exploit database using API, or it can be a local database as well. And our LLM analyzes the search results, suggesting the best actually working exploit for us based on the criteria like reliability, like the type of the exploit, etc., etc. And then we have the code generation, which is pretty straightforward here. We can even instruct that, hey, LLM agent, or GPT, or whatever you're using, to actually work on another exploit code or modifying the actual exploits or code scripts if it fails actually. So it can automatically work on that one. Even there might be some typo there, or there might be something which is missing. So that's part of the coding is pretty straightforward in this phase. And the agent could potentially interact with Metasploit API or to launch exploits, or it can be done and executed on the LLM side as well, on the agent side, I would say. So the post-exploitation phase. So how is my post-exploitation phase? So actually I asked my agent to use system commands first, network configuration, user list, the privileges there, and all the processes and open services and ports, and then the LLMs analyzes this data, and the prompt instruct to identify path for lateral movement, which was the really tough part of the post-exploitation for me. And I got, in 95% I got errors, and then finally I just narrowed down the whole scenario, and I got a good result, and then I start working on that in another update. And then, so you can instruct to moving to another system, or how you want to leverage inside the network, and also instruction for privilege escalation, how to gaining admin rights on the current system as well. So as a tangible example, you can have the LLM could suggest that based on the network configuration and the analysis, so you have this subnet or this user account which is running a service with elevator privilege, and that will be a really good fit to start an investigation for potential exploits. And finally, the agent would orchestrate the previous use cases, reconnaissance, scanning, exploitation, and post-exploitation in a sequence. So there is also opportunity to have different manual instruction and manual execution as well in between of these steps. But the key phase here is the feedback loop and the decision making, which is, I just want to say that for LLM-based agent, it is very limited because it is actually parsing the text from your side as a user. So it can't actually automatically think about the scenario unless you said something before. Just if you get these kind of if you get this kind of data, then think about this, because it only learns and parse the natural language texts, right? However, the agent wouldn't just run tools one by one. It would also analyze the result of each step, decide on the next step as well if the current situation and goals meet your criteria, and adapt the attack path dynamically, specifically if we are using agentic AI, not the LLM base. Why? Because, you know, there is a very big difference. So we are talking about the autonomous AI-based system, which is the agentic AIs. But the LLM base is definitely very limited. Just imagine you're engaging with GPT or Gemini or Copilot or Cursor, whatever you name it. And then you need to instruct everything. So you need a very good language and text and instruction all in place. So because without that text, without that instructions, you would never receive such a dynamic actions and executions. But if you are using agentic AI, it actually trained based on all of those data and data set as well, and it will 100% understand the situation, and it can perform decision making as well. Why? Because yes, all LLM agents are agentic. But not all agentic AI use LLMs. So this is super important. So here I have the agentic AI red team tool architecture in a nutshell. So it's pretty simple one. So as I mentioned earlier, we have like different data, different like a feed. We call it data ingestion, like breach feeds, OSINT, whatever. And then we have the credential validator function here, adaptive feedback as well. And then we have the decision engine in the middle. And then we have an optional section or optional phase, because it's not always necessary to have persistent function, but exploitation is a mandatory option in this case. Here I just put all those together, exploitation and persistent module, just for thinking and executing something regarding the privilege escalation or performing lateral movement as well. So what I did, I just bring up a case study for you, which I call it AI agent adaptive lateral movement, which I performed on one of my machine, thank you, which was a Windows one, but also my agent that time could easily found that, yeah, this machine is a Windows one. So we had that initial foothold there, which credential discovered, that's really good. It can be from the breach, so you can also consider the assumed breach, like in most of the pen test or red team operation, we're sticking to assumed breach scenario, By the way, we had the credentials initial foothold ticked, and then it started checking for RDP because it previously detected that the target machine is a Windows one. So it started working on RDP, but unfortunately it couldn't find anything there, so it was disabled. Then it fall back to WinRM 5985, 5986. So it found that, yeah, WinRM is there, and tried to use the credentials there, and it logged in successfully there, and then started to working on enumeration of the users, and the current user actually started with the current user, and it found that, all right, that user was actually a good one. It checked for the privileges, and then said that, okay, SE impersonate privilege found, which is really good, and it actually started to working on another path, which was, if I found this, okay, I will do 1, 2, 3, otherwise I will change my path, so dynamically. So, and also on top of that, so it is all Windows operations. So if it was Linux, it was actually another kind of scenarios there. And then afterwards, it tried to use exploiting that misconfiguration on the Windows machine, or my target Windows machine actually, with print spoofer, or it was actually capable of using different tools and different scripts like print spoofer or any potato kind of thing. So I know that red teamers know this nice piece of scripts. It can be like juicy potato or god potato, any kind of potato, just to get the system level access, because that user was not a high privilege one, so we actually require to have a high privilege user, and then it start executing one of these print stuffer or juicy potato, whatever, and then we got the system level access, and then it tried to run reviews to dump the Kerberos tickets to perform the lateral movement, and optionally at the end escalate to domain compromise. It uses desync and forge tickets to complete the whole red team scenario on that specific Windows machine. So just wrap it up, traditional red teaming versus AI red teaming. So definitely traditional red teaming I had manual reconnaissance, manual activities, but with agentic AI red team, we have autonomous adaptive reconnaissance, and previously we had like fixed attack tree, which is sometimes really good, but with agentic AI, we have dynamic learning path, and it can change in cross between different scenarios, and in different situations, it can make some decisions. And so traditional red teaming was really limited in the scale. So, but agentic AI can perform red teaming and operation in mass scale. And also traditional red teaming, of course, this was reactive, but agentic AI in best case scenario. So forgetting about all the errors and failures, yes, it's proactive, and also it can bring very good anticipation, technical anticipations as well. Yeah, that's pretty much of it. Is some of the references, but not limited to. In the final words, anytime I was saying talking about ethics, respect, and sharing the community. So sharing is caring, and that is very important for all of us. But now we have a quiz time, and we got a prize for you. I don't know, but maybe some of you like that quiz. So I have three funny questions here, and it will be funny answers. I hope at least one of you can answer one of these three questions. Otherwise, that will be a problem for me. So starting with the first one, what do you call an AI that bakes? Complete one, the complete word, please. No one?
Anyone? Okay.
Almost true, but what was the whole? So you will see the pattern then. PyGPT. Let's go for the second one. What's an AI that refuses to answer anything?
Claude AI. It's not serious.
That was not an answer, but that was a good one. Thanks. Any other thought? No. Just use the previous pattern. What? I've heard something. No.
No. Just please reach your hand up so I can come to you with a microphone and everyone
Shall
can hear your
we go for
answer.
the third one? Shy GPT. Poor GPT. So the last one, please. Oh, sorry. What do you call a romantic AI? Or a romantic AI platform or something? The pattern is same, yeah, for sure.
No. Okay.
Don't go that far, you know. It's after the
Yeah.
thing, so. Anything related to romance or something? No? So we had a prize here, so we have to find someone. Dates GPT. But by the way, so
You could hand it to the cloud.
yes, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea. So yeah, we got this book, which is, I hope you are not that expert in web penetration testing, but yeah, this is a BalCCon specific signed version of this book, which this year I published it. So I think I hope you enjoyed that. So if you want, you can hand this over.
This goes to... Yeah.
Yeah, in the
This
middle.
goes to you.
With a cap. Yeah. And thank you so much, BalCCon crew. So really amazing conference so far, but it's too early. But I'm 100% sure. So let's have fun and stay in touch. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. We do have time for questions if you want to answer any. So, does anyone have any questions for Ali? Okay, then find him later. Thank you.
Yeah.